next team, the New Jersey Devils, and this team wishes they didn't play last season. They only have 73,000 in cap space. That's not good.
Sorry, LePerry.
This is, you got Jack Hughes, you got Nico Hischier, you got Palat, you got, Jack at $8 million, Hischier at 7.25. That's a bit young guys. I get it. Hamilton at $9 million. Hamilton's a very weird defenseman for me. Like, he puts up numbers, man, but I don't know. We'll get into that in a little second. But let's go into the depth chart like we always do. Looking at this top line, you have Palat, you have Hughes, you have Mercer. I mean, Hughes, for the games when he played, produced fantastic, right? Yeah. 49 games played, 26 goals, 30 assists, 56 points. Palat, 77 games played, 18 goals, 31 assists, 49 points. You have Mercer, 82 games played, 17 goals, 25 assists, 42 points. And then, the second line, you have Hischier with 60 points in 70 games, 21 goals, 39 assists. You have, I'm not even going to try that, Igor, 76 games played, 24 goals, 22 assists for 46 points.
I with that last name.
Yeah, because we already get roasted enough for our terrible pronunciations. And then you have Brat, who had a fantastic season last year, 76 games played, 26 goals, 47 assists for 73 points. So depth-wise, I understand why. I understand why they have a second line. Maybe to give the second line more depth scoring to give Hischier someone to play with. So maybe they keep it like that. I mean,
listen, with that top line, the addition of Palat, obviously that's I hate to use this terminology. You know how much I hate to use it, but he does bring that championship pedigree to that line, right?
Devils getting a cup this season, boys. Go ahead.
No. But Palat obviously is one of few with Tampa Bay. How you call it? Now he's here to help inspire some of these younger guys, these younger players, and hopefully show them the culture that's needed to reach the next level. I'm not saying that the next level is a cup winning team, but elevate the level of play and maybe mentality that they were missing. Because obviously the Devils a few years back were still competitive, but then something happened. They got Hughes, they had Blackwood, they got all these young players, and you thought, okay, they're going in the right direction. They're getting all these good young players, and it should elevate their game to the next level. And instead, it did completely the opposite. It just dropped them way down. So now it's like, well, then what went wrong? They got all the good players, all the good young players, but nothing happened. It just went to a bottom team, and you think, what's missing? And sometimes it might just be a different mindset that's needed. Maybe it's a guy like Palat that has that experience that the guys will listen to and be like, you know what? He's won a few cups, right? Let's listen to what he's got. Let's take that into account and maybe change our approach to the game, not only on the ice but off the ice. Maybe the preparation wise, because obviously Palat has he's got two cups. Two
cups.
You know what I mean? He's got 2 cups, and he can help maybe help them bring that mentality, change it from that, hey, we suck, to hey, we can compete. We just got to come with our A game every night.
See, yeah, I definitely agree. I think Palat will also see more minutes on this type of team. I mean, I could see him getting 60 points this season just because he's going to be more expanded of a role. I think Jack Hughes, the only question mark for me is healthy. His health, his durability. Yep. He's a smaller guy, but he's talented. I don't think anyone can refute that. I like Jesper Bratt came into his own last season. He really played phenomenal. Hischier played really good. I mean, you saw some departures like Pavel Zacha. Zacha never really reached his potential with New Jersey. You bring Eric Hall in, who had 44 points in 78 games, 18 goals, 26 assists. And this isn't disrespect. This is not to disrespect Holla. He's not going to score that with the Devils. He's just not. He's not going to be put on with like Taylor Hall. You know what I mean? Like more talented players. Like he's going to be.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I watched him play the past couple of nights, and I gotta say, I think there's like a fire lit under him. He hasn't. He looks like he has a little more energy, a little more to bring. So he looked a little more lively than he did last season. He looks like maybe if he can find his legs early in the season, maybe he can still reach that same level. But I think it's really going to depend on how Miles Wood is going to play next to him. Tatar is obviously one of those guys. We know what he's bringing. But Miles Woods is kind of like the question mark. Is he going to stay on the line with him? Is he going to be able to produce? Obviously, last season, he only played 3 games. He had no points, no nothing. But it's one of those things. It's like they're going to have to really like mix and match that line to see where Holla can really give more to the team. You know?
Yeah. I just don't see like Pavel Zacha. I get why they got off of him, right? Because it's been long enough. Maybe just a change of scenery just wasn't working. I mean, I think that trade was better for Boston, if I'm being to be blunt with you. Just because you're getting younger, getting a guy who can a little bit faster. But I think with like Eric Halla, like he played fantastic last season. I'm not taking that away. He came into this team probably especially to be a third line center, stepped in that second line center role and did really good. So that's not a slight on him. I'm just saying usually guys that have those career seasons, very like already kind of mid into their career, they're more of an anomaly than a consistent thing. So, I mean, I could see him maybe getting 30 points. I don't know if there's enough offense around him if he's on the third line to get him up to 44 points. I mean, you have Miles Wood only had 3 games last season. You had Tatar, and then like this isn't to knock Tatar, but Tatar is who he is. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing with Tatar that like, oh my God, he's amazing. And like the last time Miles Wood played a significant amount of games, he had 55 games, 17 goals, 8 assists, 25 points in 2020 to 2021. I mean, like that's not bad, but is that like enough to really kind of bring up like Eric Hall's number? I just don't know if there's enough production there from his wings to bring him back to a 40-point season.
I agree, but I think Holla is also the the backup, right? Because obviously, Hughes is a big question, right? I think that Holla, if Hughes gets injured or something, Holla is going to make a jump up to help them cover at that point.
For depth, absolutely, it's a great signing.
You know what I mean? So with the fact that Jack Hughes got injured last season and he missed a considerable amount, I think that if he were to go down and be injured again, obviously I don't want any player going down to injury. I always like to see teams at their best going at it, right? And may the best man win. I hate to see injuries, but if Jack Hughes does go down, I think the addition of Holla is going to prove crucial to their success.
Okay. I mean, I do agree. He's going to be an important piece here. And I think they've brought in some nice pieces. I think they're going to be far more competitive this season. Let's get into their defense. I mean, you have Ryan Graves, 75 games played, 6 goals, 22 assists, 28 points, and only a -9 on this team is actually really good. Damon Severson, 80 games played, 11 goals, 35 assists for his 46 points. Jonas Siegenthaler, 70 games played, 1 goal, 13 assists for 14 points, only a -5. Dougie Hamilton, 62 games played, 9 goals, 21 assists for 30 points, and a -19. Signed him to a big deal, $9 million. Brendan Smith, 45 games played, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. And then you have John Marino, who they just, really just got. 81 games, 1 goal, 24 assists, 25 points. I mean, I think Graves, Severson look, decent. Dougie Hamilton, to me, is that guy that's just, he is what he is. And then Brandon Smith he's an okay. It's actually funny. Look, it's cap friendly because he used to play forward. It has left wing as a position.
Well, he was using that aspect last season. What team was he on again? I forgot. Give me 1 second.
I'll pop it up right now. He was using that role, Carolina. Yeah, no, like he's a solid utility player. Like he's a super utility player. Like that's actually a great player to have on your roster.
Yeah.
But like
he actually scored a goal, I believe, a very important goal against the Rangers in the playoffs as a forward. Like, so I mean, finish up your thing. I'm gonna talk about the defense in a second.
I think Smith, he's a solid defender, right? He's a third pairing guy at the best, right? He's not going to wow you, but he's going to play a certain physical type game, and he'll play okay. I mean, and I admire a guy that can really, the willingness to change to really kind of solidify his career in the NHL. Dougie Hamilton, I mean, I just always kind of like he is what he is for me. Talented offensively, but defensively at times can be kind of mediocre. Graves looks like, a solid defender. I mean, I'll say this defense looks like average. It just looks average. Like the one outlier here for me is Marino. Like, is Marino, after getting dealt, is he going to kind of come into this and really step up? It's going to be very interesting to see. I don't think, this is what I think probably is going to happen. I see a guy like Hamilton maybe getting bumped to the first pairing, and then Severson getting down. I mean, but like 4.4 for a third pairing right defenseman is kind of expensive. Mm-hmm. So I don't really understand some of the roster construction here. What are your thoughts?
So as far as their defense, first of all, it's weak, right?
Yeah.
At best, they're average. Obviously,
that's being nice. That's being nice.
That's what I said at best. How you call it? With the loss of Subban, right? Obviously, I think you and I have spoken about Subban in the past, and we've said that we feel like he's overrated at this point in his career, and maybe he was over the hill. He is now retired, so he is no longer on this roster, which I think is a good thing. I think it opened up a couple of different windows. I think with Severson and Graves, I think that they're going to be what they are. I don't see any improvement coming from those guys. They're kind of just going to be like, they're just going to be there. There's not much to that. As far as their second pairing with Hamilton, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the other name, but Jonas, I think they're going to struggle. Obviously, Hamilton has a lapse in defense throughout seasons. Offense is obviously he's always been productive in that aspect. But defensively, I think he is going to have that struggle. I do like the addition of Brendan Smith. Again, he brings a different mindset, and he's been on teams that have been rebuilding, especially rebuilding their defense over the past couple of seasons. He was on the Rangers. Before they let him go, he went to Carolina, and he kind of had that same type of presence, gritty, opportunistic, and if you go down the forward, he's always willing to take that step up and play forward and help out in that front line as well. So definitely a great utility guy. But I definitely think that they're lacking on the defensive end. I feel like they're gonna have to make a move throughout the season for one or two defensive players to come in. I don't think this is a good defensive core to base a team that wants to be competitive on.
No.
I definitely think that they may have paid for Marino. I think that he's still got a lot to prove. It's too sketchy at this point to be giving him $4.4 million, right? Where I do think that that first defensive pairing is gonna they're gonna stay around the same, they have an opportunity to do better. And I think that they're going to push for that just because it is their contract season. What I mean by that, if you have not seen the show before, what I mean by that is that this is the last season of their contract. Normally, guys that play on the last season of their contract tend to play better because they know that they have to show out for that team and for possibly other teams that may look at them next season when they're free agents. Right, so they're gonna be looking to really, push for better, but I don't see it happening. I see them at least staying around the same at best, right? But yeah, I really I think that this is gonna be their downfall, not improving their defense to a higher quality. They may have improved the front end just a bit more, but their defense now needs attention.
So let's get into the goaltenders. You have Vitek Vanacek, right? Everyone kind of knew him. I believe, what was it, with the Capitals, right? He kind of he played pretty, decent. Like he got picked up by the Seattle Kraken in a deal, and then got traded back to the Capitals. Funny enough, and then you have Vanacek went 42 games played, 2.67 goals against, a 908 save percentage, 20 wins, 12 losses. Then you have Mackenzie Blackwood, who had not a good season last season. 25 games played, 3.39 goals against, an 892 save percentage, 9 goals, 10 losses. This goalie pairing is just, I don't look at Vanacek and that's a career, a franchise type goaltender. I look at him as a very solid backup who could play very good minutes for a competing team. Blackwood has been on a downward trend for the last couple seasons. I mean, I know the team is not that great in front of him, but he started out his career with 918, then 915, then 902, then 892. We're seeing a trend here with save percentage. Goals against 2.61, 2.77, 3.04, then 3.39. We're seeing a trend. So I'm not blaming him for the complete garbage that's being put in front of him at times, but it is kind of concerning, right? It just is. I think he's got talent. I am just worried from the mental aspect. Have the Devils ruined him? Because certain goaltenders, dude, they do not bounce back.
No.
There's certain career guys that will kind of go all the way around, for a guy actually that's on LTIR for them, like Jonathan Bernier, right? He just played everywhere. He'll play for rebuilds, decent teams, etc. But will Blackwood be able to bounce back? I look at this tandem and I'm just average, the best average.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, right? I feel like 100%. At best, you're looking at an average goaltending tandem there. Now with Vanacek, he at least was consistent, right? His and I think that maybe that's why they picked him up, was because he was consistent over the past 2 seasons with the Capitals, including the playoffs. I'm not saying it's the best consistency because he struggled in the playoffs. The big stage is where he struggled mightily. As far as throughout the season, it wasn't horrible. I think the team in front of him was a pretty decent team, but I think that when they struggled, he struggled. He couldn't. Yeah. He couldn't
rise up. Yeah, right. He couldn't rise up to the occasion. And I'll let you get back to your point. But Vanacek, literally, in both his season, has a 908 save percentage. So that is consistency. I mean, it makes you kind of wanting more, but I guess it's consistency. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? So now you have Blackwood, right? Obviously, I think you and I have spoken about this in the past. Maybe they started him off too young. Maybe, they didn't allow him to develop the way they should have, maybe in their system before bringing him up. Yeah, he splashed onto the scene, and they thought they saw something great, and he did. He had some spectacular games and things like that. He has a potential to be good. The problem is he is consistently going downward in his trend.
Yeah.
and maybe with the addition of Vanacek, maybe he can pick some things up. Maybe he can change his game and be a little more. How do you say? Just try to be a little more average when it comes to making saves. Not try to do too much. Not try to be spectacular. Maybe just simplify his game a little bit more, and maybe that's what the Devils are hoping that Vanacek can help Blackwood with,
right?
Along with bringing his consistency, and if that happens, then maybe it's a upward trend for Blackwood from here. But Blackwood needs to prove a lot, because and he has the opportunity because the Devils don't really have a good goaltender even in their prospects.
No, it's
the prospects and everything else. I look at some of these goaltenders, and I'm sorry, but they're not good. Unfortunately, they are not good.
Maybe some of these guys they've drafted like recently, but that's still like 4 years out, at like 3 to 4 years out. Maybe like that's gonna probably have to be the direction they go into. So let's get into it. The Devils had a really bad season. Let's not sugarcoat it. It was terrible. The only team that performed worse in that division is the Flyers. They went 82 games played, 27 wins, 46 losses, 9 OT losses for 63 points. I don't really. I hate to say that. I don't really see them finishing much higher. Like it's,
this division is way too stacked for them to be as average as they are as an overall view. To try to compete in this division, I see them staying there at best. If they're pushing really hard and they make it click, maybe pushing Columbus out of 6 and dropping Columbus down. But even that's a tall tale. Because it's a 20 point difference between the two teams last season, and not much has changed so I see them staying there at 7th myself. So
I don't really see much of a growth. I actually think New Jersey is going to finish 8th, and we'll get into my reasoning for that when we get to the Flyers. But I think the Torts experience can kind of bring the best out of mediocre players, if I'm going to be very honest with you.